So you say Maya Angelou is one of your biggest influences. How so?
Maya Angelou, I read her book, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings, when I was in high school, and it's still a book that's in my collection. She took me into her world. She literally took me into her world, and I was able to see every word. I was able to see every picture that she was painting very vividly. And I was inspired by the fact that she was so candid and honest and real when she told her story. I never thought that I would actually be talking about Maya Angelou now, but to actually say that I've read her work and that her work has inspired me to be a better writer. She did that for me in ways that I wouldn't even imagine.
Okay, awesome. All right, so a little bird told me that you are a singer. So who inspires you as in the music world as a singer?
um, I can. There's so many people I can pull from with
Okay.
that particular question, but the main person I'm gonna go to is Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
I have been listening to Stevie Wonder's music my entire 33 years.
Okay.
And Stevie's music was the purest thing I have ever heard. It seems like he knew what to give in his music. It was never too much. It was just enough. The emotion that he connected with his lyrics. You can listen to a Stevie Wonder song right now and go into a place where you were when you heard that song. Or it just ties itself together to even the current state of the union for Black people. It's very relevant, it's very real. And Stevie has this thing where he sees colors. And when I discovered that he saw colors, that inspired me more as a singer and as an artist, because I never knew that he had that type of thing going on in his head where when he heard sounds, he saw
So colors.
And I was like, that is so wow. Stevie has
With him being a blind artist.
Yes.
Yes.
Stevie inspires me to keep getting up and singing every day.
Okay. So he loves Stevie Wonder, and Stevie is one of my favorite artists as well. We actually have a 45 over in the exhibit that has Stevie Wonder's song on there. Yes, we're gonna check it out. We're gonna check it out soon because we're gonna look at his exhibit, his photography exhibit on the wall. So that'll be something that we look at a little bit later. And this is just a glimpse of his work, a collaborative work that he did with Jonathan Morris. All right, we're gonna move on. So, what experience has changed you as an artist? It could be good, it could be not so good. If it is good, then how do you use this to your advantage? If it's not so good, then what did you learn from it? And you can take it bit by bit. You don't have to answer it all at once, but just give us a little,
I'm gonna start with this. I lost my father when I was 23. And I was a freshman in college, just trying to figure out what my journey was going to be at that particular time. And losing him started me on the path to finding what my purpose was, what my calling was. And I took that energy, I took all of that, and I wrote that into every one of these books. All of the energy, all of the love, all of the hurt that I experienced at that time. I wrote that into every one of these books. That particular journey was one of the hardest journeys I had to go through, but I'm actually in a state of mind now, because it's 10 years now since he's passed. And now looking back at life, if that didn't happen, I probably wouldn't be here now. He he was one of my biggest supporters.
One of your biggest supporters.
One of my biggest supporters.
So I know that that had to take a toll on you and affect you. But at the same time, you were able to pull it into one of your works. And one of the gentlemen that's on the exhibit, one of the greatest romantic French author, black French authors, was Alexander Dumas Père. And he used his father's experience to romanticize. He used it in his work. So I can draw that connection between you as a writer and Alexander Dumas as a writer. I think that is good. That is good. All right. Did you want to add on to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a number of experiences that I can pull from. And I've literally pulled everything I've dealt with in my life. There was a particular point in my life where I was homeless for 3 months. And while I was homeless for 3 months, I spent a lot of time writing this book. I was living in the Salvation Army here in Shreveport at that particular time, and it wasn't that I was, I chose to be homeless. I had made a conscious decision at that particular time to say, don't lean on someone, lean on yourself. And during that time, I was still going to college, I was still working 2 jobs, and I was working on this book. With this book, I wrote in my moments of me being dealing with homelessness. I wrote that into this book because it was so relevant and it was so real. And I didn't even know how I was able to tie it in at that particular time, but I was able to write it in. And I felt like that made this story so much real. I feel like it gave it a different energy. I feel like it gave it a different depth that when people actually are able to read it, they wouldn't know if it was real or not. But for me being the person who is telling this story, I know that it's real. And I want other people who are actually dealing with homelessness to understand that it's not what you're going through, it's how you get through it. It's really about how you get through it. It's really about taking it with ease and handling it with grace and with care. And not losing yourself in those moments, but really being able to connect with other people on a real level and really being honest and genuine and fluid and just being you.
Being there. Okay. All right. So the next question is going to be, how would you describe your artistry? And with this being said, literature, you as a literary artist, in order to illustrate the African American experience in America and as a community. So we want to hear about that.
That's a great question.
And I'm gonna repeat it. So, because I'm going live for this particular segment. So, how would you? And we're here with Jared Thomas, Dreas Dion. He's our featured literary fiction artist, singer, model, and he's here with us today. And we are basically interviewing him. We are upstairs at Art Space in the Blackout exhibit. And we have posed this question to him. How would you describe your artistry in order to illustrate the African American experience in America and as a community?
That's a good question. I'm gonna be blunt, very blunt. I am a proud member of the LGBTQ community as well as a black man. So I take this as a moment of we have to really be adamant about what's going on in the world around us. We have to be able to take the issues that are so near and dear with us losing people of color to police brutality, people in the LGBTQ community who are being victimized. I wanted to be a voice for those people. They are me, I am them. And I want us to be able to be seen in a light where we're not being distorted or jaded or spat upon by society. I felt like it was my duty and my God-given right to tell people to stand for something. You have to stand for something. If you stand for something, you can't fall for anything. And we have to be people of integrity within our community. We have to want to see other people who look like us, no matter who you are, black, gay, or straight, to want better, not only for yourselves, but for your community, for your family, for the future that's coming.
All right. So, for this segment, stay tuned for our Facebook followers. Stay tuned because we're going to go live shortly and see his exhibit that is going to be on display, that is part of the display at the Blackout exhibit. All right, so next question was for that. Next question, that was really good. Really, really good explanation about your perspective today, the African American experience, national and local and global, because you never know who you might inspire. And I think that you are a great inspiration to our community, to all of these communities that you have just named. All right, we're going to move on to our next question. What role do you think the artists have in society? And you kind of just really named it, but on a specific level. So we're going to go to a general level with this question. What role, and the question is, what role do you think the artists have in society?
That's a really good question. I would say this. We all have a voice, whether it's our art, whether it's our songs, whether it's our poetry, whether it's a play that you do in your local community. We all have a voice. We all have to be able to lend our voice to the world, to let the world know that regardless of what's going on, you can still be able to be you and to share your experiences with people and let them know that, hey, I know that feeling. I've been there. I'm living that right now. That's something that I'm dealing with currently. And me as an artist, I want to inspire, entertain, motivate, and educate people to a world that they may not understand, a world that they may not come from. And really just being in a space where I'm totally free. I'm totally unapologetic about who I am and what I do. And I want to see that with other people, to see them be totally unapologetic and free in who they are and what they do.
Awesome. So you heard it. He is challenging you to be unapologetic in everything that you do. All right. So my next question, and I know that this is kind of weird, but not weird, but we're artists. So if you were to have any superpower, then what would it be and why?
Think about that. If I had a superpower, what would my superpower be? Okay, my superpower would be, I would want to try and heal the world with my voice.
Okay.
It's important that My superpower to me is my healing. That's my healing. That's my place of peace. I'm able to be 100% transparent in that. It's a spiritual thing for me. And to heal someone else with my voice would be a life-changing experience, to really let someone see my light shining from the inside, that they can see something pure and something honest. We do this all the time. We hear it with someone's music. We hear it with someone's reading someone's book. We hear it reading someone's poetry. All the time, someone gets healed from hearing something that they are inspired by, or by something they read. My superpower would definitely be to inspire people with my voice, to heal people with my voice.
Okay, awesome. All right. All right, so this is our last question, and we want to know from Jarek Thomas, also known as Dreas Young, our literary fiction artist, singer, and model. What are your goals as an artist? What do you see yourself doing in the future? What kind of projects do you see yourself working on?
That's a actually a really good question. Right now, I am currently working on my second book of poetry, which I'm very excited about.
Okay.
I have not developed a title for this piece yet, but I'm very inspired by it. And I'm gonna be very candid. I started going to therapy. I started working on some issues in my personal life.
Okay.
And it inspired me to write this second book.
Okay.
So that piece is going to be very, very personal. And the next thing in my list is I'm going to be writing the third installment to Coming Full Circle.
Okay.
Coming Full Circle 3, Somewhere or Nowhere.
So it's a trilogy?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a series.
Okay.
And in this series, this journey is very crazy. I love to see how I spin these characters' lives upside down and then right back up. But in the third book, and I keep seeing like a movie script for this third book for some odd reason, since I haven't begun to work on it yet.
That'll be nice. A film, movie.
Yes, I'm definitely seeing a film with this third book.
Okay.
Those projects are the things that I'm very inspired by the most right now. I'm also just breaking into doing modeling currently with my exhibit that I have on display here. And I'm very inspired by photos. I'm very inspired by nature. I'm very inspired by my city. If you look at my exhibit, a lot of the pictures that I've taken in the exhibit, I use my city for inspiration. And I love being out in nature. I love colors. I love the sounds. I love just being one with the earth. So those are the projects that I'm currently working on, and that's current right now.
All right, so you've heard it. This is our featured artist, and you will be able to find this recording very soon on Instagram and Facebook. And we will be going live soon with Jonathan Morris and Jarek Thomas on the pictures that are on display in the exhibit. So stay tuned.